Hello again, you're in the right place, you're live at the BBC Sports Centre with me, Chris Mitchell. Coming up on this edition of Sport Today, the greatest comeback in Europe's history. Barcelona pull off mission impossible. The city lights up as Barcelona's fans party all night long. And Aubameyang goes bang for Dortmund as the German side go through too. Well, dreams and nightmares collide in Barcelona. Remember where you were. Barcelona through to the quarter-finals of the Champions League after one of the most incredible matches in the competition's history. It finished 6-1. Barca sealing a 6-5 aggregate win against Paris Saint-Germain. The winning goal, well, that came in the 95th minute. Russell Trott has the story.
A night of unbridled emotion. They were calling it La Remontada in Catalonia, the comeback, whilst the rest of the world had simply thought it would be mission impossible. No team had ever come back from a 4-0 first-leg deficit to win a European Cup tie. And yet, as the dust settles at the Nou Camp, celebrations continue throughout Barcelona. The Catalan giants are through to the quarter-finals of the Champions League after knocking out Paris Saint-Germain on an extraordinary night. 3-0 up after 50 minutes, and belief coursing through the Barcelona veins, all seemed lost when PSG's Edison Cavani made it 3-1 on the night. The Parisians seemingly home and dry, and with 2 minutes left on the clock, 3 goals were still needed. But then arguably the craziest 7 minutes ever witnessed in European football. First, Neymar bent in a free kick, then converted a dubious penalty before complete pandemonium as Sergi Roberto wrote his name into the Barca history books.
I think something like this never achieved before. We are talking about an odyssey. In 9 months' time from now, the hospitals should get more nurses because people will make love a lot tonight.
So an incredible 6-5 aggregate victory, and against all the odds, Barcelona into the last 8 of the Champions League for a 10th year in a row. Russell Trott, BBC News.
Over 96,000 people were inside the camp now to witness that best ever comeback. Many of those flooded the streets of the city afterwards to celebrate. Neymar had suggested on social media that it was a day for a party. And the fans, as you can see, seemed to agree. Well, it is easy, isn't it, to say it was incredible, amazing. But what does it actually mean? How can we put this into context? Ernest Macia from Radio Catalunya was at the game, and he's been trying to do just that for us.
In Barcelona, nobody remembers something like this. On April 86, probably, Barca came back at 3-0 against Gothenburg, and probably this is the most similar thing, but 4-0 is the first time in something so big in just 7 minutes. I think it will be the biggest comeback ever. We will remember that night for a long, long time. This is the greatest match I've ever seen. In Camp Nou, I saw one with Manchester United winning the Champions League title against Bayern Munich, a comeback in scoring 2 goals in just 1.5 minutes. That was incredible. And I also remember when Liverpool came back after 3-0 against Milan in the final of the Champions League. That was something difficult to repeat, but what we saw yesterday in Camp Nou is a miracle. I think that it represents a boost for FC Barcelona and a message for the rest of the teams. A boost because 22 days ago, Barcelona was a dead team with no identity, with no control of the midfield. And this is the DNA of FC Barcelona, taking control of the pace, of the passing skills. And this is what Barcelona has been doing the last 2 weeks. That's why they have improved so much. And then, of course, you can add the talent of Messi, Neymar, and Suarez. But this is also a message for the rest of the teams that they have to know that even beating Barcelona 4-0, they can lose the game and they can lose everything. They can be knocked out. So this is a powerful message for everybody. And when this happens, normally Barca wins the Champions League.
What a contrasting night it was for Luis Enrique and Unai Emery. PSG's president said it was a nightmare for everybody concerned. Here's our football reporter, John Bennett.
Remember, this comes a week after Luis Enrique announced that he's leaving Barcelona. Since then, they've won 5-0 And now they've beaten Paris Saint-Germain 6-1. Wonderful night for him. He knows it's his final season in charge. He knows he's only got a few weeks left in charge of Barcelona. On the other hand, some serious questions will be asked about Paris Saint-Germain. Unai Emery, their head coach, was brought in to bring them European success. He'd won the Europa League with Sevilla for 3 seasons in a row. Laurent Blanc was sacked. Emery was brought in. I think he could have been forgiven losing against Barcelona had it not been this comeback. They were 4-0 up from the first leg. Surely they should have coasted through. He got his tactics totally wrong, and his team looked frightened at the Nou Camp.
Everybody from PSG, the players, technical staff and the supporters are going through a bad moment. What happened on the pitch was a very negative experience, a missed opportunity as a club and individually a missed opportunity to grow. The club wants to keep growing by playing matches like the one we just had.
It is a night which is difficult to explain in words. This has been the script of a horror movie. I wouldn't even say a thriller, but a sheer horror movie. What a spectacular night at the Camp Nou Stadium. I've never seen anything like it before. I can't think of a game where the tension was higher than today's. As ever, the attitude from my players has been spectacular. We took so many risks. It isn't possible to take more risks than we did today. Above all, this is a victory of faith. This is a sport for nutters, clearly for crazy people. Those who were here tonight will remember it for the rest of their lives.
Great quotes there. There was another tie. Borussia Dortmund's passage to the last 8 was less dramatic. They beat Benfica 4-0 in their second leg, winning the tie 4-1 on aggregate. Dortmund's hero, this man, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, the former African Player of the Year, scored a hat-trick. Dortmund go through to the quarter-finals for the first time since 2014. Barcelona, then, are through to the quarter-finals of the Champions League after pulling off the greatest comeback in the competition's history. Here's the moment Sergi Roberto scored the goal of his life.
Le va a pegar dentro del área. ¡Gol! ¡Gol, gol, 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 gol! ¡Gol, gol, 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 gol! Sergi, 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 Roberto! Gol, 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 gol! Barça, 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 Barcelona 6, Barcelona 6, Barcelona 6, PSG 1!